It was a hand-wringing afternoon last Saturday as Nebraska let North Dakota hang around into the third quarter before the Huskers found enough offense to put the game away. Big Red gets another tune-up leading up to the big matchup in 2 weeks, but not before we break down the North Dakota game with our special guest, Aaron Sorensen from Hail Varsity. Sean Callahan also joined us with some updates on Big Red recruiting. It's all coming up next on Big Red Wrap-Up. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Severe, and welcome to Big Red Wrap-Up on Nebraska Public Media. More than 330 days, 7 games. Nebraska finally gets another win. To talk more about it, former Husker Jay Moore and Damon Benning. I usually start with you, Jay, but it's a brand new day for Nebraska after a win. I know you like that song. It's a brand new day, man.
Brand new day. It was a beautiful morning, and anytime you can get one, you
That's
try
right.
to put it together and get two. One's a coincidence, two's a fluke, three or more is trending. Let's see if we can't move towards the trend.
Did it feel like a win? For some fans, I don't know if it did.
Man, you know, I will say this, for as hard as it was, I mean, we've struggled to come by wins, obviously. We've been through a lot of losses in a row. It did, you know, when you got tied there in the second half again, and it got close, I was like, oh boy, you know, you're about ready to hit the eject button right then and there. But they warmed down. You know, Anthony Grant kind of showed himself again, and they got the offense going a little bit in the second half. But there's obviously a lot to be concerned with this football team through 2 games. You'd like to think teams make their biggest jumps from game 1 to game 2. I don't know if that can necessarily be said for this football team right now. Lack of physicality on both sides of the line of scrimmage, miscommunication in the back end, poor tackling again through 2 games. Maybe you contributed that some to the travel. You know, you get the. Coming over from Ireland, there may have been a flu going through the team as well. So, but a win's a win. But I'm very, very concerned through 2 games, obviously.
Honestly, the one person I can say has had a pretty good season, a perfect season, is the punter.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Brasheen, he's had a great season so far. I don't know if anybody else really has.
Yeah, one of the few. Isaac Gifford is close. I think he's evolving into a guy that they can count on. But if you're looking for the glass half full, listen, Nebraska weathered the storm emotionally. That has been a team that their psyche has been extremely fragile. Mm-hmm. It was close in the third quarter. It would have been easy for them to wilt a little bit and to kind of start reflecting and checking the rearview mirror. They did a good job of staying the course with patience as they went to ground and pound. If you're looking for something to be optimistic about, it was weathering the storm without looking like there was a sense of panic, because they've got to get over the emotional hump before they can do anything physically.
And we'll get to it later, but forcing a field goal after that interception, that's what you're talking about, making that happen. We're going to get to a lot tonight, but we do need your help. Reach out and help with our conversations. Our friends from the University of Nebraska's College of Journalism and Mass Communications, yay, are here enjoying some Valentino's pizza and manning the phone lines. If you prefer to email or text, you can do that as well at bigred.nebraskapublicmedia.org. Also, hit us up on social media with your comments and questions as well. We've got our team monitoring Facebook and Twitter tonight, so don't be shy. Don't forget to head to our website and download your copy of the 2022 Nebraska football schedule poster. You can print these off for your home or office, and you can use it to keep update all season with Huskers football scores. Finally, our new sideline survey is up and ready for your vote. I'm scared of this. I did not write this question. This week, we want to know, are you happy with the North Dakota win? Yes, a win is a win. No, it was too close for too long. Or have you already checked out for the season with 10 or more games left? I hope you haven't. As you see, 43%, no, too close for too long. 39%, a win is a win, and 18% have already checked out. Check the website every single week to vote on a brand new survey. You said at the beginning, a win is a win, but when it's 17-17 in the third quarter against North Dakota, I guess I understand why fans are a little bit not encouraged.
Yeah, well, you go in half at 7-7. You had an interesting situation with Frost using up the timeouts there. You know, they were probably going to get 3. I
thought they would get 3, yeah.
For sure, you know, the ball's at the 14. I see what he wanted to do. He wanted to try to get the ball back real quick at the end of the first half there to get some points. But there's just too many parallels from all these past seasons. That's the puzzling thing. And we said it last week, you know, keep doing the same things and over and over and expecting, you know, different results. And that's kind of just seems like that's been the theme so far when Frost has been here for these first 5 years, is they keep doing the same things, practicing the same way, to my understanding, and just doing certain things. Obviously, they tweaked some stuff this year, but it still looks very similar to my eye, to I would assume the fans' eye. And that's what's puzzling, because you know what's on the line for him and his staff coming through this to the season. You'd think it might be a little different. He might view it a little different, do some things differently, but it's still the same stuff we've continued to see. So that's where I am. That's where it gets frustrating for me, because you keep seeing the same stuff, the same, not playing physical, mismanaging timeouts or poor special teams execution in the game. So that's just the top of the iceberg, and we could really go further into the details, but it's just the same things that continue to haunt this football team show up day in or week in and week out.
Scott Frost said he doesn't want to crown him yet, but they found something with Anthony Grant, it certainly seems like.
Yeah, he's kind of getting into a rhythm, and he's, I think, really taking control of that role. And, I wondered coming out of the junior college ranks, even after FSU, the limited success there, that would his style translate? And some of the verdict is still out, right? There's two things he does really, really well. He's very good at making you miss in small spaces, and he's constantly gaining ground with his moves. So I like those two things. The thing that I'll be curious to see how it translates is, he's a little inefficient at the point of attack, right? Where he makes runs a little harder on himself than they have to be. And against equal or greater than competition, will he be able to pull off moves like this, right? You played across a defender's face and he got away with it. I'm not so sure that will work against big-time competition, but as you see, when he gets going and he gets downhill, he is a handful.
You love vision and balance. Does he have that good enough when
he's got fantastic balance? Now, the vision, like I said, we'll see. He's had to work extra hard to get back to the line of scrimmage. Statistically, he's about 1.9 before contact. He's 6, a little greater than 6 after. So we'll see how that kind of lives.
Is that an indictment on the offensive line, though? Guys are getting in the backfield.
But also just sometimes the inefficiency in terms of what I call pressing the point of attack, where if it's a front side crease, stay front side. If it's a backside cut back, cut that thing back. He's pretty busy being busy, so we'll see how that works.
As Trev would say, run the play where it was designed.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the defensive line. And we saw North Dakota having success against Nebraska, moving them off the ball. I know you're going to show some stuff later where bad decisions were made on run plays. What can they do to fix this?
I think to me, this is how I look at it. And, a lot of people always, Sunday afternoons and Monday mornings at work, and they voice their frustrations to me. And what's going on? What do you see? I go, to me, I'm not at practice, but if you're not going to play physical in the games, you're probably not practicing physical. So that's where I think they would have to change, because you can't, I don't care what, there's only one sport I know that if you practice poor, golf's the only sport where you can hit it really good on the driving range and go out and play poorly on the golf course, or vice versa. You can hit it very poorly and go on the driving range and go out and play very nicely on the golf course. The way you practice is the way how you're going to play 99.5% of the time. I don't care what sport it is. And to me, they got to pick it up in practice, because that was not very encouraging to see them get pushed around by North Dakota, able to crease some runs, poor run fits, poor tackling again. So if it's going to be Ty Robinson, Colton Fife, Garrett Nelson, someone's got to step up and get these guys going, because listen, they're not going to last this season, especially getting the Big Ten play, continuing this. They're just playing soft right now, in my opinion.
The other two guys are Drew and Wynn. How do you think they've played so far, the transfers?
Well, I tell you, I typically listen and take Coach Chenner at his word. So after game one, coming back from Dublin, when he said, hey, watching the tape, I think that Wynn and Drew have earned the right to have more snaps. Wynn seemed to be the beneficiary of those increased snaps. And I think he's kind of playing his way into game shape. His body type is changing a little bit. Didn't get off to a great start when he was here in terms of his physical development. And, basically kind of taking a year off at Alabama where he wasn't an integral part of what they did. So he's been a pleasant surprise as he continues to evolve. But they've got to get better play from Ty Robinson. I think he's the guy that was the incumbent. He's the true three-tech. He's got to be a guy that really anchors this deal. And so for him, all eyes on number 99, because I don't think they can go deeper than 3.5, 4 guys. And by a half, I mean 10 snaps apiece divvied up between backups. So he's a guy that's got to really step up and take the bull by the proverbial horns.
As Damon knows, I'm a cooking analogy guy. A bunch of people could be in the kitchen and make a meal, right? It doesn't matter who cut the seasoning. It doesn't matter who did this. Does it matter who called the plays in the first and second half? Because in the end, it's Nebraska, right?
No, I don't. Man, doesn't matter to me. I don't.
Yeah.
It's about getting the win. It's about making this team, obviously getting off the snide of the 7 straight losses there. And no, I don't. If it was Whip in the first, Frost in the second, obviously we saw Frost with the play sheet in the second, didn't have him in the first half. I have no problem. You got to change that. You got to go through a wrinkle. I hope it's still staying professional amongst them too. Hope there's no animosity.
Yeah.
Currently, but I have no problem with it. It's all about getting this team to where it needs to go. And when you're struggling 7.5, man, something had to change.
Casey Thompson needs to be involved a little bit in the run game, right? You always talk about the plus guy when the quarterback's running, and that's Scott Frost's offense.
Yeah, there's no question. And he showed you a couple of different wrinkles. Number one, the QB run game was new this week. And 2, introducing a second back with the little orbit action or the little disco action where you bring some eye candy into the backfield and hold backside defenders. If you allow guys, Jay, you know this, if I can pin my ears back and just hit fits, it's very easy to defend the run game out of shotgun handoff run game. When you start adding the quarterback element and deception with multiple backs in the backfield, it slows you down and gives the offense an advantage. And I think we saw that a ton in the second half.
Yeah, Chancellor Brewington as kind of an H-back. He's really efficient. You saw him come out of the backfield, catch a touchdown, blocks really well. They did it with Omar Manning as well. I mean, you can use some of those bigger wide receivers.
Yeah, the tight end position is the position I worry about the least, even though, Travis Vokolek going down was arguably the greatest impact, had the greatest impact of the game in week 1. But in Coach Becton, I trust the development of A.J. Rollins. Chancellor Brewington has played well. We've seen Borkature kind of evolve. He's steadily getting better with live reps. And we saw Chris Hickman get 8 or 9 snaps this week and grade extremely well. So the tight end position, even minus a guy like Fedoni, is not as deep in terms of being star-studded as it has been in the past. But from a development standpoint, and Coach Becton, I trust.
How much does it concern you that a guy like Teddy Prochazka got kind of pushed around a little bit by number 44 for North Dakota? You saw some issues in the middle of the line as well.
Yeah, the sack he gave was interesting. They did, a little imbalance there. They've been doing a little bit of that this year so far, and he didn't look very comfortable on that right side. I'll tell you that much. He just, he got beat pretty easily inside, and that's where the sack fumble came against Casey Thompson. He just, laboring a little bit off the knee so far, but the offensive line, it's kind of feast or famine right now. There's a little bit of good, but sometimes it's like, Anthony Grant's making a lot out of nothing, and I hope that's not the case going forward. Hope they can kind of grab some cohesiveness, get some more nastiness, play more physical. I would just love for the offensive, the one D line and one O line, just go at it a lot more often in practice. I think that you'd help make each other so much better just doing that. I think Frost maybe alluded to that. Getting a little more one-on-ones during the week. I hope that's the case because that's what this team needs right now. They need good on good. Make each other better, iron sharpens iron, and just play more physical football.
Yeah, it's really hard to take on pullers and know when to squeeze if on the second level, if that action never gets to you in practice, right? If the D-line is defeating, kind of the scrappy squad, you don't get real looks. But I'll say this about Teddy Prochazka. The difference between an excuse and an explanation is ownership. And he owned the fact that he is still getting acclimated to his conditioning and confidence. I believe he's healthy, but when you're 6'9" and some change, 330, you're coming off major knee surgery, and you haven't played in over a year, you have to progress into being ready to have real live game situations. And he'll be better later than he is early, but the fact that he owned the fact that he's not there yet lets me know that he's got good self-awareness going on.
Let's get to the highlights now from Saturday's game. It was a perfect day for football at Memorial Stadium. The weather was outstanding for the first home game of 2022. We start off with Casey Thompson very early on, feeling himself, especially on the first drive. 3 big plays on this drive to help them. Alante Brown right here, 2 receptions on the day for 27 yards. More of Casey Thompson and explosive plays. Another good throw, this time to Marcus Washington across the middle for 24 yards. And then Damon, Anthony Grant.
Yeah, you take a look at here, just decisive downhill. See the stutter in the hole, but the jump cut, the 2-foot plant still gaining ground, that's impressive.
That was a 19-yard run, 23 carries, 189 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the day for Anthony Grant. Casey Thompson, again, This time, deep pass. We talk a lot about the tight end position. You can get depth. Forfeiture here. What was he, the 4th tight end last year, probably? And now out there starting and making plays. He had a drop early, but 2 big catches during the game, including a touchdown there. Then Casey Thompson with his legs, Damon.
Yeah, this is what he's got to do. Just an added dimension. Really forces you to play it honest when you've got to come down in the box and make plays on the quarterback.
He had 2 runs for over 10 yards on the day, and then you had the missed. It swirls that end of the field. Not to make excuses, but that's the one side of the field where the wind really does swirl down there. And here's Isaiah Smith with a good run. Is this one you're going to break down later?
No, it's not the one, but again, angles. Buford gets way too far upfield. You gotta stay, and you can't get turned in. Your shoulders gotta stay parallel to the line of scrimmage to be able to come down and make that type of play.
Big third and 12 here. There's a few of them. They only got 3 third downs in the first half, but they all were big ones. This leads to a touchdown pass to the tight end. That's the quarterback's favorite target in the red zone. 7-7 there. Casey Thompson started the third quarter. Again, another really good drive to start a half. You have this throwback. He had to wait for it, but Casey Thompson gets to Trey Palmer, who had 4 catches for 82 yards, 4 targets, too. The week before, he had 8 targets in the game. And then Casey Thompson with another run, Damon.
Yeah, there's the 2-back deception. It makes you play it honest. It creates a natural crease. He's able to get downhill. Very good eye candy in the backfield.
Burgercher's back for his first touchdown. That's that pop pass.
Yeah, really, really tricky formation. It's an unbalanced look. You have to recognize that he's an eligible receiver. They run 3 deep. You run 2 verticals, +1, advantage Nebraska.
We saw that last year to Allen a couple times. There's your sack fumble right there.
Finally, the Ultimate Warrior kind of gets through there and gets. He played good. He was one guy that was really consistent all Saturday.
And then Anthony Grant really got hot at this point in the game. They just kept going to him. This run is 16 yards after making a play. Actually, that secondary, the defensive back actually hurt his ankle.
Yeah.
We talk ankle breakers. He actually hurt his ankle.
Watch him put his foot in the dirt right there.
And that guy twisted his ankle.
Yeah, most people aren't confident enough to do that off one leg. Very good. We call that plant and push.
He had a targeting reversed on Chancellor Brewington, so they had to go for a field goal, 46 yards. Bleak Road nails it at the easier end of the field to kick a field goal. Nebraska up 17-7.
This is a play I'm breaking down right here. We'll break down and look at what Farmer was there to do. Playing was poor eyes. Poor eyes, and Luke Reimer was just not, wasn't as aggressive as he needed to be.
Good job by the defense, though. Black Shirts hold, force the field goal to make it 17-10. But here, is this an example, Damon, of short quarterback syndrome?
Yeah, I like him playing hook to curl. You don't think that inside linebacker is going to make that play because you don't see him.
Yeah.
He got his eyes around the number 2. That's pretty crafty, and a ball that I know Casey Thompson would take back. But if he's honest, he didn't see him to begin with.
Yep. And then they finished this time. Instead of getting stopped after turnover, you have the touchdown run there to make it 17-17 in the middle of the third quarter. Nebraska fans are nervous, but Casey Thompson gets hot again. There is Omar Manning, who had 2 catches on the day for 16 yards. And then, Damon, here's Anthony Grant again.
Yeah, a really fantastic run. Just busy at the line of scrimmage. There's the bounce, and then he just hits the X button. He looks like he's laboring a little bit, but listen, he can tote the mail. Give that guy his due. 8.2
yards a carry on the day. Not bad anytime. I don't care what level you're at. And then Casey Thompson comes back. This is the biggest play of the game, really, I think. 3rd down and 14. He throws it up. Lets Trey Palmer make a play. If not, they're punting from their own end. You never know what happens with North Dakota. And I think that kind of broke the spirit of North Dakota. And after that, Anthony Grant with consecutive runs. That one right there is for 14 yards.
How about him staying in bounds, understanding game situation?
Smart guy right there. And then again for 11 yards. That's your touchdown. Of course, that puts up Nebraska there by 2 touchdowns at that point. And then the next drive, they gave it to Anthony Grant another couple times in a row as he gets down there, a 6-yard run. And then A.J. Allen eventually comes in. He gets a couple runs late. But in the end, the game is put away. Casey Thompson with a nice play. Is this almost like Spider Y2 Banana?
Yeah.
The guy coming out of the backfield?
The key is A.J. Rollins selling run.
Nice.
You bite because it's run action. Brewington slips out the back door. Easy pitch and catch. That's a well-designed play.
We go to stats. 36 minutes to 24 minutes. Time possession is not always important, but against, of course, a Big Ten team that would wear Nebraska down. 306 total yards for North Dakota, 437 for Nebraska. But again, they lose the turnover battle for another week. This time, though, they get a win. Time to check out our players of the game against North Dakota. Obviously, your Big Ten co-offensive player of the week, Anthony Grant, appears here for the offense. And then Garrett Nelson, our pick on the defensive side of the ball. What's his nickname again?
Ultimate Warrior.
The Ultimate Warrior, who definitely came up big against North Dakota. Next up on the show, we break down a few plays, and then we're joined by Aaron Sorensen to continue to digest last Saturday's game and tackle the week ahead. As we go to the break, images from Nebraska's win against the Fighting Hawks, courtesy of Hail Varsity. Stay with us. We're back soon.
Okay, welcome back. Let's take a two quick looks at a couple plays here. One good, one bad. Let's start with the bad first. This is that run we alluded to earlier with Miles Farmer, and they're going to get North Dakota's getting a hard zone stretch look to the left, and the quarterback is going to go straight out here to Farmer and check where he's at to see if he wants to give or keep. So as I hit play here, boom. Initially, right now, Miles Farmer's coming down. I'd like to see him be a little tighter here. There's so much space, but initially, Bad Eyes needs to see the mesh point, but the mesh point being the exchange between the tailback and the quarterback. So obviously, he's going to give because there's a huge gap here. Now, after he gives, I'd like to see Reimers, because look at what he has. Everyone's kind of coming down. He's kind of worked over top here, but he's a little slow to doing that. Again, rules as a guy coming off the edge, you have cutback, bootleg, and then reverse. So he needs to be tight here. He's making this play. Always come out of it late, play defense inside out, but they don't, and then the defense gets creased here. Another missed tackle, one of 29 missed tackles in the first two games by this defense, and he is off to the races. Luckily, we have a couple guys hustling here to get him down. But again, just poor vision, eye discipline by Farmer, Reimers, et cetera. So let's look at Anthony Grant in his runs. This guy's been making a lot out of nothing so far. So you're going to get a little run stunt here. 91 by North Dakota is going to kind of come in here. 88 is going to fall over top. So as you hit play here, and as I pause it, Anthony Grant looks like he has nowhere to go, right? You have two free hitters. 88's coming here. But as Damon alluded to earlier, he can make people miss in small spaces. That's what he does. Boom, makes 88 miss there. He has two guys here. Completely makes him whiff. I think this is Corcoran. He just does a nice job of getting a hand on this. I think it's a safety coming down, maybe a linebacker, just to shield him off. And then you're going to see the jump cut here. This DB's looking. He's coming from a free hit. He's got him dead to rights. Jukes him out there. Nice job by Washington here, getting a little seal here. and Anthony Grant is off to the races for another touchdown.
We saw some good wide receiver blocking, I thought, in the game, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
Omar Manning had a good one. You saw Washington with one.
You don't have long runs as a running back without those guys getting after it downfield. And, you know, we'd be remiss to not talk about Buford's touchdown-saving tackle.
Yeah.
Didn't get in his feelings. They bowed their neck. He got the key stop on the run fit outside, then the key pass deflection. That's a good job by numero uno staying with that.
All right, let's talk about our top plays now. Of course, Garrett Nelson, strip sack, one of the biggest plays in the game, finally forcing a turnover here, coming across, did it perfectly. This is where he excels, especially late in games or against this level of competition. That's really when he stands out. Anthony Grant, his 46-yard TD run, we talked about it earlier. Damon broke it down, showed some pretty decent vision there. And once he broke to the outside, what is it, the X button? I don't play video games.
Yeah, that's the speed burst.
Speed burst, okay. And then Trey Palmer, big catch in the fourth quarter, maybe the biggest play of the game. It was 3rd and 14, and Nebraska couldn't give the ball back to North Dakota, only up 7. Trey Palmer makes that catch. They go down there and score the touchdown to put the game away for the most part. All right, we're pleased to be welcome to set. Aaron Sorensen joining us from Hale Varsity. Are you still jet lagged?
No, thankfully not. But that first week back, it does get you. You don't even realize how tired you are until about like a day or two later, and you suddenly start to realize, like, I've been on a different sleep schedule. When everyone was eating dinner, I was asleep. That does mess with you a little bit.
What was the feeling like for you in the stadium when it's tied at half, tied 17-17 the third quarter? What was that feeling like?
Well, first and foremost, the stadium outside of the boos, there was a lot of boo birds, was very quiet also after a certain point. It was just kind of, especially for a home opener, it just was very kind of solemn, if you will. And for me, it was just a little... You start to get, like, just what do you do? Especially if you're managing anything with social media. Oh, yeah. There's just nothing you can do at that point. People really aren't looking for, they don't need you to comfort them. They just leave them alone.
Right, no doubt. So let's talk a little bit about what you saw from Anthony Grant, because we were all waiting for the next Amir Abdullah, right? Yeah. Devine had the 1 year. We're waiting for Amir. Does it feel like that a little bit watching him these first 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely putting himself in contention for that. I mean, 185 yards. He definitely impressed. Obviously, we need to see that consistency from him before, I think. Obviously, Scott Frost was pretty clear. He's not looking for the statue to be built tomorrow.
Don't crown him yet, yeah.
But at the same time, I think he's clearly shown he's incredibly capable. He's a very talented back. I'm excited to see what he can do, and hopefully the offensive line can kind of get itself together, because you can just only imagine what he's able to do when he has a line in front of him that can really, really give him that space to run.
You mentioned managing social media. What's it been like this week? Because as much as it's a win is a win, it certainly didn't feel like it for some of them. Even our survey, we had 43% of people said it was too close. It wasn't good enough.
It's funny you had the option that was like, are you done with the season? I don't think anyone is like done, not a large amount. I'm sure that there are
be done with the head coach, but not the season.
But I think people are more just very nervous. I think North Dakota didn't give them that confidence that they were maybe looking for. And I've been really interested in watching people sort of talk about Georgia Southern in the perspective of being nervous about Georgia Southern. And you just wouldn't have expected that at this point in the season, where really, truly every week feels like a new season, if you will.
Michael talked about handling social media. How's it been handling the magazine, the website, when 2 out of your 3 top sports have struggled for the last 5-6 years?
The good news is volleyball continues to just reign, and people love volleyball, but it is hard because it's always a give and a take. They don't want you to try to put on rose-colored glasses. They don't want you to also make everything completely awful. You kind of have to find a balance somewhere in the middle of the good and the bad, and give them hope, but also give them reality. And that's a hard line to walk when, sometimes it is one or the other. It really isn't maybe all good and it isn't all bad, but you're trying to kind of find a balance. And I think at that point, you just aren't going to make everyone happy.
Really, the one thing you can lean on is recruiting, right? The future. You can always lean on who's coming next. That's what it always seems like you do.
Always. Recruiting is always that thing that people fall back on, where it's just like, it's the any given Sunday type of thing. It's any given Sunday something can happen, or any recruiting class something can happen. It's Anthony Grant. Any running back could be the next one. And so there it is, Anthony Grant.
And Brandon Vogel's statistics that he provides, too, are off the charts.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Yeah,
He's off the charts.
I look at some of his statistics and I'm just like, I don't know if these make me feel better or worse, but I'm glad that they exist.
Yeah, I'm glad because you can you get a little bit deeper into it. I love havoc, and I think if you're going to be a good defense, you've got to pass batted, you got to get interceptions, force fumbles, you got to get tackles for
losses.
Here's the crazy thing. Sometimes you can scheme around sacks, right? Quarterbacks get rid of it. Tackles for loss is all effort. You're making plays on the other side of the ball. They had two in a game against North Dakota.
That's that if you're going to point to a cause for concern outside of tackling, right? Because tackling, you can't do anything without tackling. Scheme is irrelevant if you can't tackle. I'll be curious to see how Nebraska evolves defensively. Will they start to kind of gap guys out, maybe get an extra defender in the box to protect the interior? Because so far, between the two interior tackles, your inside linebackers, Ernest Hausman making his first start as a 17, 18-year-old, it's very difficult. And your safeties kind of growing into the experience. Nebraska not as sound schematically up the middle, which is almost impossible to flourish if you want to be a good defense. We'll see if Coach Chinander starts trying to help them out with scheme to cover up some of the deficiencies that he may see at the point of attack.
Is the missed tackles what you hear the most when you're on the website or on the social media?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the missed tackle counter was a running joke until about halftime on Saturday, and then everyone was like,
I stopped counting.
I can't count any longer. I'm done. And, I mean, the missed tackles are a point of concern. They have to – you're not going to be able to go into Big Ten play and not tackle. That is just – I know it's sort of a broken record. We ask Erik Chinander, and he's kind of at a point now where there really isn't much to say until it's fixed, and so he's kind of having to repeat himself. But they have to get that piece figured. They have to get it figured out because, again, you're not going to go into Big Ten play doing what you did against North Dakota and expect it to give you results.
Try to find good news in that. At least they're there to miss the tackle. You know what I mean? There are times where the guy's just running open and there's nobody there. At least they're getting guys to the ball.
There's something. I like the optimism there.
It was Jay Foreman that said it on there. I just copied what Jay said.
I think the thing, and you guys can speak to this, when Coach Frost says, hey, listen, we're going to go more ones versus ones, and we want to see real live action, I actually think there's something to that, right? You can't be a team that feds up or kind of tags off without being in position. You either have to get downhill and wrap up or overcompensate tagging off where it's a head in front kind of thing or something like that, because you get a false sense of security at practice when you're tagging off on hips and you're not actually in position to make plays. It's muscle memory, and it lends itself to playing that way in games.
Georgia Southern coming in this week. We've seen Kyle Van Treese come out with Buffalo. He threw the ball 50 times when he came in. You expect him to be pretty comfortable in Memorial Stadium? I
mean, comfortable is a different, like Memorial Stadium, no matter what, with 90,000 fans, and it's going to create, when we talk about havoc, that will wreak havoc on anyone in any situation if that's not what they're accustomed to playing in front of. We've heard a lot about this being a pass-happy team, and, you know, in my opinion, if we're going to look for areas to be optimistic, this is a perfect test for Nebraska's defense. They need somebody who's going to test them to really try to take the pass rush to, I was going to say the next level, but really any level. They just got to really do something with the pass rush, and this will give them an opportunity to really go after a team that wants to pass the ball. Can they get to the quarterback? That's going to be a big thing, I think, against Georgia Southern. If they're unable to do that against Georgia Southern, then I imagine fans are going to be pretty restless at that point.
Yeah, and we know what to expect from Clay Helton's offenses. Marquise Stepp transferred to Nebraska because they weren't running the ball enough at USC when he was there. You expect him to try to throw it all over the yard?
Yeah, I do. And with so much quick game, it's really about being disruptive of the timing, whether it's hands up, you just get Van Treese off rhythm or off his spot. Pressure can come in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's not necessarily getting a quarterback to the ground, but sometimes it's about muddying up the pocket. Can you get him to clutch, to hold the ball a second longer? And then Nebraska's DBs have to do something that they haven't done very well up to this point, and that's rally and tackle after the catch. Punish guys for playing catch in front of you to deter that effort and energy.
It's an honor, obviously, to be a captain. The team votes you there. Missing two captains this past week, with Nick out and Vokolek out, how much do you think that impacted the team?
You know, I think this is a team where there's a lot of leaders that aren't captains. I would say someone like O'Shawn Mathis is a pseudo-captain in the sense that he's a leader on this team. Obviously, Casey Thompson leads in his own way as well. So I definitely think having Travis and Nick out is a loss when you just talk about the team also gelling and learning how to play with one another. And you are now without them in the early stages of your season, having to kind of play without these two big key components. Now, I think especially when you're looking at what the tight ends were able to do, it gives you a lot of hope where we were concerned about depth. But now it's kind of going, well, you know, when Travis is able to come back and if something were to happen, or if they need to make a rotation because somebody is getting tired or something, you have the depth to do it. So at the same time, it stinks to have your two captains out, but you're getting to learn a lot about those next players up. And Chancellor Brewington, Nate Burkacher, they definitely have shown what they can do.
Those guys still can have their leadership on the sideline, right? You saw Vokalek talking, you saw Nick kind of going around talking to people too.
Yeah, I think that's big, right? Sideline involvement is huge, especially from a tutelage standpoint. You know, because sometimes a different set of eyes or from someplace a different perspective. Hey, listen, on the backside run fit, squeeze, right? There's too much opening, or, you know, you need to be tighter, or you're a little loose off the edge. You can give those little things in terms of terminology in hopes that a guy can take those words and have it come to fruition with how he's playing out there on the field.
Different from a coach than it is from a player?
As far as
when you're coming to the sideline to give you stuff?
A little bit, because you can say, hey, remember this play in practice that one time? It looked like this. Or, hey, remember this time we were playing, remember Northwestern gave us this look and we had to adjust, and a little different, yeah, because, you know, Chinander's up in the box. Yeah. So obviously, if he's going to talk to you when he's on the phone, but that's the biggest thing, I think. People underestimate is communication on the sidelines. NFL, you were able to have the tablets and you can see stuff. You don't have that in college. You have to be on page with the D-line coach, linebacker coach, everyone to communicate what you're seeing, so they can also make adjustments as well.
Yeah, I thought one place it would have been huge is you did the play design with Miles Farmer backside. You said you'd like to see him have squeezed that a little tighter, because that's a pretty long backside run fit. Muscle memory tells you that play is probably right. Shuffle, shuffle. It probably feels right to you. But what happens is what a player can tell you on the sidelines, those holes move. A-gap moves, B-gap moves, C-gap moves. So it feels right to you, but as you watch it unfold, oh my goodness, I need to be tighter. Instead of D-gap, that was almost E, right? That doesn't even exist because, but it feels right to you muscle memory-wise because you did your squeeze, your little shuffle, shuffle. Okay, I'm good backside. But when you see how the hole is moved, it's different when you don't see live ammo.
It's been a long time since Oklahoma came to town. I know when they first announced this, people were very excited. What are you hearing in terms of the excitement level for the Sooners coming to town in a couple weeks?
Well, if you didn't want people to look ahead, the good news, no one really is. Everyone is really focused on Georgia Southern. This is the first time I'm like, oh, people are sincerely not looking ahead to the next. I will say, you know, if you get through Georgia Southern, I do think a group of fans are going to build their excitement level back up. Oklahoma just inevitably brings excitement with it. It's just, it is what it is. And we're talking, you know, 50 years last year and this year being a celebration of, you know, the game of the century. There's a lot to be excited about. They're going to be celebrating, I believe, the 97 team with like the 25 years this season. So there's all these different pieces that are going to be like built into this season where people will get themselves excited. Now, as far as the game, Georgia Southern first.
Isn't it interesting how Nebraska potentially could have the chance to get to 3-1, which is what
we all thought they would be
predicted. It's just in a little bit different order.
Which, if that does happen, if Nebraska manages to get to 3-1, gets through Georgia Southern, manages to beat Oklahoma, which I do think, you know, is not completely off the table. I really sincerely don't, especially when you look at what Nebraska was able to do just 1 year ago against Oklahoma. And Oklahoma is much different today than it was 1 year ago. And sure, Nebraska is too, but, you know, hopefully Nebraska can be better 1 year later. But people at that point, you're starting to look at a potentially different season. At the same time, I don't know if people are quite yet ready to like let themselves get too excited, but if you are looking at 3-1, I could see a little bit of a shift where people might hesitantly start going, maybe things are looking different.
They beat Oklahoma no matter what Oklahoma team is. You get excited. You feel comfortable about Georgia Southern?
I do. I think Nebraska. It's Georgia Southern. Nebraska is not Morgan State. I think Nebraska will do what it needs to do against Georgia Southern, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's not moments that make people uncomfortable. I still think this team has a lot of growing pains to work through, and that's going to be just maybe the nature of this season. Is every game is just going to make us a little bit uncomfortable at times, maybe a lot uncomfortable.
We say it all the time, being comfortable, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Aaron, we appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate that from Aaron again coming in. We will take another look at some of the best of social media now. First up, at Nebraska Hype Man shows how Phil Swift from Flex Steel is going to fix the 2022-23 football. I didn't see this ahead of time. That's actually pretty funny. That's a good job. Can we bring him in, maybe? Just going to slap those get right games right in there to patch things up. Hopefully this Saturday turns out the same. And then next on Facebook, Chris is looking for Amir Johnson. He has him on a milk carton. Hey, he did have a screen pass thrown to him. Might be a little drastic to put him on the milk cart option, though, but after 2 games, we understand what you're saying, Chris. Time for another break. Next up, Sean Callahan will join us to talk about recruiting. But first, another look at Saturday's win. Images courtesy of Hail Varsity. Be sure to vote on this week's Sideline Survey. Are you happy with the win over North Dakota? Right now, no, too close for too long is winning at 47%. Yes, a win is a win, 37%. And 16% of the people say they've already checked out. Make sure you visit the Wrap Up website and cast your vote. Welcome back to Big Red Wrap Up. I'm Michael Severe. Sean Callahan. Time to talk recruiting. Did you miss anything? You can tell some people have checked out, is what we learned. Talk some recruiting. Visitors this weekend. What does it look like?
Yeah, no official visitors this past weekend. We haven't got to this weekend's list yet. It's only Tuesday. We don't usually get a good read till Wednesday, Thursday. But number of commits were in town. But the biggest names were the 2 Iowa Western guys, Ontario Thompson and Quatrell Jamison Travis, both defensive linemen. Both can play, inside, outside, multiple positions on a defensive front. They were both here together. Nebraska's offered both players. So those are 2 guys to keep your eyes on. I think they'll end up probably being 2 of the more coveted JUCO players. But as we've learned, JUCO guys kind of get forgotten about. Think about Anthony Grant. I mean, if it wasn't for Nebraska offering him late, he was going to go to Texas State. And
a guy who was the offensive player of the year in
junior college football and led the nation and won the national player of the year, as you said, national championship, and fell under the radar. So you have to think junior college, if you really do your homework, you could find a guy or 2 that are going to help you, like an Anthony Grant.
Especially at Iowa Western.
No doubt.
60 miles away. Not a bad place to go shopping. No doubt about that. All right, joining us on the phone, one of the commits for the 2023 class, Gunnar Gotola, joining us here. Gunnar, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
We're doing really well. How's the season gone so far early on for you?
Well, we started the season out with 2 close games against good teams. We just have some few things we need to work on and fix just to get those games finished and get wins. But I'm excited. We have a really good team, and we're a really close group. So I'm definitely excited, and I have a lot of confidence in us going the rest of the season.
Gunnar, this is your 3rd year now as a starter at Lincoln Southeast on the offensive line. How much have you grown just over the last year, and where do you think you've made the biggest gains going now into your 3rd season as a starter?
I think I've improved as a player, obviously, over time, but I'm also glad that I've been able to improve as a leader. Just having guys like when I was a sophomore that were great leaders for me. I'm glad that I'm able to, or hope I'm able to kind of just be that leader for other younger guys in the program and just trying to be someone that my teammates can look to just as a leader.
Gunnar, when you look to the next level, where do you see yourself playing, a tackle or guard?
I really just want to play anywhere, really. They said that I'm flexible enough to play tackle or guard or center, wherever they need me. So whatever's going to get me on the field and help the team, really.
Gunnar, you look at this in-state group, 3 offensive line commits to Nebraska, Sam Sledge, yourself, Brock Knutson from Scottsbluff. How close are you guys as a group? I mean, you guys are going to obviously potentially be together in college for the next 5 years.
Oh, yeah, we're really good friends. We talk to each other a lot, over the phone, or like I was able to see Sam at the game last Saturday, so we're really close together, and it's just exciting that we've got 3 in-state guys, recruits on the O-line, so it's special.
Gunnar, obviously, Lincoln Southeast has a reputation. They were a great team for a long time, winning state championships. Do you kind of feel that at times when you're there at that school, the legends that came through that building?
Yeah, just like, the coaches preach about it a lot, and they talk about, because they've been a part of, our 2011 state championship team, and there's just a lot of tradition in Southeast. We have 9 state titles, and, it's always just a rich tradition in history, and they like to tell us about that, just, ingrained in us to know that it's a special program, and, yeah.
Gunnar, what is your plan then moving forward? Will you graduate in December and roll in January, or are you going to come back for a spring semester and take part in activities for Lincoln Southeast there in the 2nd semester?
I'll graduate in December, and I'll enroll at Nebraska in January.
Gunnar, we really appreciate it. Stay healthy this year, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's talk about our in-state recruit, Cade McIntyre. Of course, his brother Cole was a really good athlete. Tell me more about Cade.
We did the state championship game, and I forget if Damon was on that game with us, but he jumped out immediately when you watch this game back in November. His size, his length. I think a lot of people had a hard time knowing where was his best position. Some liked him as an edge guy, an outside linebacker, an inside linebacker, a wide receiver, a tight end. I mean, he is an athlete, and he's a guy that can run. He's a 10-9 type guy in the 100 at that size. And, in this championship game, a few times defensively, I just saw him on the perimeter, and I'm like, man, this guy really has some potential. And I think Nebraska, they offered him, but they were a little bit late, and late being like a week late, but that means something when the teams that make that early offer are the Iowas of the world. Right. And, in 1 week, he had like Tennessee, Iowa, Oklahoma, Wisconsin. I mean, he had all these big offers come in, boom, 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 boom. And, Nebraska was on him, but I think the problem for Nebraska was they never really knew where to put him. Was he an inside backer? Was he a tight end? Was he a wide receiver? And Mickey Joseph's already kind of got his receiver room set at the time. The inside linebacker room was set. So they had to kind of figure out whose tab he was going on. And by that point, Oklahoma was like, we want him, and he's committing. And he's got a family connection. I think his grandfather's a big Oklahoma fan. Great kid. His brother's at Wyoming. We'll maybe see these guys again in the state championship game. It's Class C2, though, very loaded. They'll have their work cut out for them, but hopefully we can see these guys again.
New offer this week, Jaden Rydell?
Yeah, Jaden Rydell, tight end out of Kansas City. Teammates with Jaden Doss, Raymore Peculiar High School, 6'4", 205. Oregon and Nebraska both offered. September 1 is the first day that these guys can get the real offers. And I'll tell you what, this is a guy that will be one of the top players in the Midwest, probably a 4-star level talent. Raymore Peculiar is having a huge season. They've beaten Rockhurst already. And keep an eye on this. Jaden Doss, the commit for Nebraska, he had 5 touchdowns in their game Friday. Wow. He's got 7 touchdowns in 2 games. He's run a kickback. He might be one of the better players in the class. Carries that 3-star tab. I think people just kind of move on, but he's a really good player, maybe underrated when you look at what he's done these first 2 high school games.
John, we appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Michael.
We're going to do a little more ones versus ones this week. Some ways I feel as the head coach watching, like the defense needs to see those plays being run at the speed that the one offense can give them.
Everything's a little bit faster when it's good on good, as opposed to going against scouts or maybe doing like a 7-on-7 period where it's not as fast and you know you're not going to get hit. So.
That's half the battle for a defense, is getting adjusted to what the offense is presenting us. That's half the battle, to get lined up. And when your feet are in the ground and you know exactly what your job is, responsibility is, it's a lot of times it's hard to have a bad snap. But so that's our biggest challenge, I would say.
Not good enough yet. Once again, not up to our standard. But I feel like this is a young group that's hungry, that wants to be good, that wants to win, wants to do things the right way, and I think that they'll continue to get better and better each and every week, and that's the exciting thing about this group.
It's been a process to get everybody working together and on the same page, and new pieces and knowing the little details and things that it takes to make plays work and make plays on defense. That's what we're going to continue to work on. And I think the kids are in a good spot, understanding and feeling confident in where they can go, but knowing we still have a lot of things we can fix.
Time to take a look around the Big Ten. The second-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes took down the fifth-ranked and over-ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, 21-10. Penn State mounted a comeback to beat Purdue, 35-31. And Indiana squeaked out a win against Illinois, 23-20. Obviously, Georgia Southern coming up. Before we get to that, I want to ask you, because you returned punts in that building pretty successfully. What has been the issue with punt return? Because I went back to 2019. They've got as many games with fewer than 3 yards for their longest punt as they do double-digit ones.
Yeah.
What has been the problem?
Indecisiveness. I think when to return, when not to. The fair catch thing, like, it's a mentality. And you have to want to return every punt at all times to kind of settle in. You don't just, by happenstance, become a good punt returner. It has to be something you're passionate about, and I think Nebraska's still trying to find that guy.
So it's the guy more than the way they're scheming up the blocking?
Yeah, because I think it's withstood, it's lasted longer than a particular coach. They haven't been really good at it for a while outside of J.D. Spillman, and so I think it's more about the individual.
And most of the guys you see in recruiting that they bring in, a lot of those guys were punt and kick returners in high school, right?
Yeah, Trey Palmer, as we know, is a great one. Tommy Hill is a really good punt returner.
That's the guy I like.
Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. I think a lot of it is field position. When the defense kind of has a bend but don't break drive and they're punting from the 40 or 50, and you're just not going to be able to return those punts. I mean, the defense has got to kind of get one of those more traditional 3-and-outs where they're punting from the 30, and then you're going to see some. But I feel like every time Nebraska's forced to punt, it's in that midfield area, and you're just trying to catch it and not let the ball get inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, there was a couple line drive ones I thought guys came up to catch, and I thought they could have come up running opposed to calling for the fair catch. We'll see if that changes as we go along. A couple questions on here, Jay, about the defense and the defensive line and what could improve. What do you think about, we always talk first week to second week, but second week to third week, could you expect to see a big jump?
I hope so. It better show up, otherwise you might get beat by Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
I think that's a real possibility. You know, I think Ty Robinson needs to figure out what he wants to do. I think, you know, I don't know if he's with the depth issues, if he's saving himself because he knows he might have to play more snaps than usual. I don't know. That guy, he just hasn't been consistent enough. You know, we've seen some dominating play out of him the past couple of years, but I haven't seen it so far through 2 games. And especially, I'll give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt against Northwestern because of the good O-line they have. But that's a pad statting game against North Dakota, man. That's a 2 to 3 TFL, 3 QB pressures, a couple hurries, maybe get a sack.
Like Nelson did.
Yeah, you're right. You know, but his stat line wasn't very impressive. So it just, you know, I don't know. It's been very puzzling for me with him because I have very high expectations for him, and he needs to step it up just with the rest of the guys we talked to, even that win and everybody else. Biggest loss from last year, Damian Daniels, then?
Yeah, absolutely.
He made so many plays.
Absolutely. And normally I would have said, you know, Jojo Doman or the tandem of Dismuke and Deontay Williams,
leadership back there.
Because we underestimated just getting guys lined up, but right now it looks to be Damian Daniels by a long shot.
Yeah, don't. Heinrich and Reimers have struggled so far, and through the first 2 games, not having Daniels in front of them, cleaning that stuff up, keeping guys off of them. That's been a big part of it.
And filling the hole that JoJo Domann left, right? You want to find a guy to run that position. They got a couple different guys.
And it's probably Isaac Giffords who they want there, especially if Kolarevic's going to have to split those Hausman reps. I was shocked that Clements only got 3 snaps at linebacker this past week at the inside spot. But Gifford, to me, seems like the guy. And, this week will be interesting because of the way Georgia Southern plays. Van Treese has only been sacked 10 times in his whole career. And that's 650 pass dropbacks. So you're not going to sack this guy very often. As Damon said, you got to find other ways to disrupt what they do.
Yeah, and you got to make plays. Obviously, I was talking about punting before, but just overall in special teams, I don't know the last time they had a big play in special teams. That's what gets you. Well, they had a block punt, but then they couldn't score off of it.
But then they almost touched it.
Yeah, then they almost touched it too. Got to find a big play in special teams would really help.
Yeah, absolutely. Special teams are such a big momentum-changing play of a game. A block punt, a kick return, a punt return, all those can change games, or just really open the floodgates to have Nebraska take over a game like Georgia Southern, where they should, being a 3-touchdown favorite so far early in the week, that should make a win more comfortable.
Did you think either one of those were targeting last week, whether it was on a quarterback or the one that was on Chancellor Brewington?
I didn't think the one on Brewington was targeting. I wouldn't have fought you over on the quarterback, but I didn't think Brewington was. I didn't think that was targeting.
That's the one I thought was. I thought it was the most obvious one.
I think that's a good DB making a play on a ball. He's trying to high point a ball too, right? It's that I think they actually took a look at intent, which a lot of times they don't do with targeting. But I don't think he wasn't headhunting. He's trying to make a play.
Let's go to burning questions. We'll start with you, Sean.
My burning question is, can Nebraska's defense just get their alignment issues figured out, their tackling issues? They've 16-play drive last week against North Dakota, where they had multiple 3rd and longs. They couldn't get off the field. They've got to get some of those tackling and alignment things figured out this week.
Damon?
Can they take a couple steps forward defensively? It's not so much tackling as much as it is being gap sound. And don't be so busy pre-snap. They got to get lined up quicker.
I'm going to say defensively as well. I talked about owning a line of scrimmage with the D-line. Did not do it very well against North Dakota. Can they do it against Georgia Southern? A lot of quick passes, quick games. Can they stay fresh and own that line of scrimmage?
I'm going to stick with the same one from last week. Can Nebraska win a turnover battle? Because they've not done that in a while. Don't forget to head to our website or our Facebook page and click on the prediction. Jay, Damon, and I will tell you exactly what to expect on Saturday. The Huskers look to find more improvements this weekend at home as they welcome in Georgia Southern. That's the Memorial Stadium. Kickoff, of course, is at 6:30. And it's on FS1. We're back next Tuesday to wrap up the game and look ahead to the big non-conference showdown between the Huskers and the Sooners with our special guest, Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Finally, some in-state volleyball is on the horizon this weekend before Nebraska tilt with Georgia Southern. Catch Creighton and Omaha volleyball live from Bax Arena Saturday at 3 p.m. Central right here on Nebraska Public Media. Our thanks to Sean Callahan, Aaron Sorensen, Gunnar Gotola, and for our student volunteers in the call center joining us tonight. For Jay Moore and Damon Benning, I'm Michael Severe. We'll see you next week on Big Red Wrap.